Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredible power of stories. We're going to see how they're like this invisible current running through our lives, shaping everything from our own personal healing all the way up to the foundations of our cultures.
You know that feeling, right? Where you finish a book or a movie, and you just sit there for a second because something inside you has shifted. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on why that happens, and we'll see that it's so much deeper than just simple entertainment.
And that's because stories really are more than just a pastime. You can almost think of them as a kind of fundamental technology for our minds, one that we use to figure out ourselves, each other, and the world around us.
And believe it or not, this is not a new idea, not by a long shot. This exact phrase was actually carved above the entrance to a library in ancient Thebes by King Ramses II. So for thousands of years, we've had this deep understanding that stories have this incredible therapeutic power.
So let's see how that ancient idea has evolved. It went from a motto on a wall to a recognized clinical practice. This whole idea of healing stories is probably more relevant today than ever before.
It's actually got a name, bibliotherapy, and it's a formal therapeutic approach where a professional will use specific literature, we're talking novels, poetry, you name it, as a direct tool to help people grow and to heal.
So how does it actually work? Well, it's this really cool three-step psychological process. First, you've got identification. That's when you read something and think, hey, that character is just like me. Then comes catharsis, where you experience their journey and it helps you release your own bottled-up emotions. And all of that leads to insight, that amazing aha moment where you connect the story's lesson to your own life.
And this kind of therapy can go in two main directions. There's the cognitive treatment path, which is very direct. It uses manuals and self-help books to teach you skills. But then there's the affective treatment path, which uses fiction, novels, and poems to let you explore really complex emotions, all from the safety of a character's experience. Both are really powerful ways to heal.
Okay, so let's zoom out a little. We've talked about individual healing, but let's see how this same power builds up across entire communities and cultures. Because the same magic that helps one person can actually hold a whole society together.
Just think, for millennia, long before written language was even a thing, this was how knowledge got passed down. Oral storytelling wasn't just for fun. It was literally the blueprint for survival, the anchor for identity. It was the very fabric of culture itself.
It's amazing how much work a single story can do. It can teach right from wrong, explain where we came from, reinforce cultural values, and even be used as a tool of decolonization. You could almost say stories are like the operating system for an entire culture.
Now, this is a really key insight. Unlike a printed book that's set in stone, a spoken story is alive. It's adaptable. A storyteller might tweak details based on who's listening or what's happening at that moment, which makes the story perfectly relevant, right then and there. All right, now for the really fun part. Let's see how these ancient functions pop up in all kinds of stories, both old and new. It really proves that the basic way stories work on us hasn't changed a bit. Okay, so let's meet Lunja. She's a fascinating figure from Amazigh folklore in North Africa, and her story is a perfect example of a narrative that teaches a really critical lesson about the world. So on the surface, Lunya is this vision of mesmerizing beauty. Everyone wants her. But that beauty is just a mask, because at her core, she's actually a ravenous ogress who devours the very people who fall for her. It's a really powerful cautionary tale, encoding this timeless piece of wisdom. Sometimes, the greatest danger is hidden behind the most beautiful face.
Okay, let's jump way forward in time to a modern children's book. This one's about a young girl named Frida, who comes up with a pretty clever idea for how to save the things she loves the most.
And it all starts with something so simple and pure. You know, she has that perfect taste of a summer blueberry, and she gets this powerful urge to capture that fleeting moment and keep it forever in a jar. But pretty soon, her project starts to grow. She starts trying to collect things she's afraid of losing that you can't even touch, like the sound of a song or a cloud that looks just like a unicorn. She's desperately trying to bottle up these fleeting, perfect experiences. And then it gets to the real heart of the matter. When she finds out her best friend is moving away, she tries to save him in a jar. Suddenly, her project isn't just about nice things anymore. It's this deeply human attempt to stop change and to hold on to what really matters. And that's the through line, right? Whether it's a therapist guiding a patient, a tribal elder passing down an origin story, or a children's book helping a kid process loss, the function is exactly the same. Stories are the tools we use to make sense of our lives.
And all of this brings us to what is maybe the most important point of all: how this incredible power applies directly to your own life. Because the narrative that you build about your own past, your present, and your future has the power to literally shape your reality. So it's worth asking yourself, what kind of story are you telling? Thanks for joining this explainer.